Yes. So, okay, so when I was a student at PS, we had a course on a forum theater or participatory theater. I wonder if we took this course. Maybe no. I think it was replaced by another one. So the lecturer was from Germany. His name is Kraus. And I have to credit him because the materials I'm presenting are from him, actually. So he wrote a book about participatory theater, and I use also the notes of that course some years back. So I have tried to check on the theater performance by Pierce Pritzker, trying to see how it is done, and I felt maybe I can put some insights so that we try to improve it. And this is a right time because on 21st September, we will have the International Day of Peace. So, and this is there will be an event organized by Never Again Rwanda, PIAS, and the district of Huye. So it's a big event. We expect a lot of high personality, including mayor, parliamentarians, and other people. So it's going to be a very big event. So PIAS Peace Club was asked to perform a theater and a song. So I think in the previous meeting, we discussed about it. So I'm doing this partially because I see the needs, but also partially so that we prepare ourselves for this big event. So I'm going to give you a 30-minute presentation about what we call participatory theater and peace building. And we will start working on the performance. Okay, good. So let's start then. So the outline, this is what I'm going to present. I will talk about the difference between participatory theater, about the history, and also I will go deeper into how to make a theater and develop a theater play step by step. Okay, so we'll start by these differences. So normally there are different types of theater, okay? So there is this traditional one, which is more like love stories and other stories. And then there is a script, which is already prepared. And people are just asked to people are just asked to just memorize the script and act, okay? So this is the traditional one. But this one we call participatory is different from that one. So how is it different? Number one, traditional theater is the one way. That means actors are playing, the audience are watching and listening. So it's one way. The actors, they play, the audience is there, they just watch. But for participatory, when a theater is there in the medium, for example, no, it's actually the actors and the audience, they interact for the participatory. So at a certain point, even the audience can come in and do something. So it's different, okay? Also, traditional theater, as I said, there is a script which was developed by a script writer, and then actors, they just memorize it and they play it. But for traditional participatory theater, actors are asked to use their own expression of the things. And this will make the actor to enter fully into that character. So we do not have a script, like a very rigid script from the beginning. So we ask actors to somehow narrate their stories. So this is also another difference, okay? So maybe let me check why my camera is not. Yes, okay. So I think already you get the difference. The difference is that for traditional, somehow it is rigid and strict. That means you have the script for the traditional, you play it, and that's all, okay? But for the participatory, number one, the actors themselves are asked to write themselves the script and to somehow be flexible and speak out, out of their heart, okay? And also, the traditional theater is one way, which means actors, they play, audience does nothing except watching and listening. But for participatory, we actually include the audience. We can pause in the middle and ask the audience to say something. Yes, to say something. Okay? Yes. Okay. So there are various types of participatory theater, but forum theater is the most common, popular one. So this forum theater is the most popular one, but there are others: visual, debate theater, legislative theater. So there are many more, but the forum theater is the most common one. So here in the participatory theater, this is the most important thing: authentic emotional act. Authentic, this is the whole point, okay? So for the participatory theater to be successful, this is the key: authentic emotional acting. So it is crucial for our artistic approach that the audience believes that the actor. This demands an authentic way of acting. So you have to be so authentic to the point that the audience believes it is real, it's happening. If you are narrating a sad story, you need to narrate it in a very authentic way, emotional. If it requires you to cry, you cry. So I think this is the main point I want to make in this presentation. So I have been seeing some of the presentation of Just Peace Club where it's more like a comedy, people are laughing and it's just entertainment. No, for peace building purposes, we need to act in the most authentic atmosphere of reality. Okay? Yeah. This is the things you should keep in mind. Okay? So that's the difference. I think this is okay with all of you. I want to be interactive. If there is questions, so you can stop me anytime, and I will be happy to hear you. Okay? So let me go to the second point if you don't have any other question. So let me talk a little bit about the history. These two men, Augusto Boal and Paulo Freire, they are actually, I would say, historical figures that actually have something related to the participatory theater. So, but let's start with Augusto Boal. Augusto Boal was, both of them are from Brazil, okay? So these are Brazilian in the Latin. So Augusto Boal was actually a professional theater conductor or director, whatever. And then he used to, direct this kind of traditional theater where it is in the hall, it is for these rich people, they just want to relax, they come to see the good performance, and that's go. But he started having a passion of political issues and the social issues, economic issues in Brazil. Because in Brazil, actually, there are, of course, as in any other society, there is a big difference between the rich and the poor. So the poor are living in slums, reaching a very miserable life. So he wanted to capture that into the theater so that those issues are raised and are addressed. But he realized with the traditional theater, it's not possible. So then he invented this kind of forum theater. He invented it, but he was based on the ideas of this man called Paulo Freire. Paulo Freire, I don't know how to read this, is a very famous educator and scholar who actually wrote a book called The Pedagogy of the Oppressed. So he was somehow, in the book, he's trying to tell the story of those people, those poor people in Brazil and other places. So he's a very good writer. I like his argument. Most of the time, he has a very strong argument when it comes to the poor things. For example, I read one article about him. He was trying to compare. He was writing something about gender-based violence, and he was talking about this argument of feminists that women are oppressed, things like that. But his argument was that, come on, women who are oppressed are the poor ones. So if you are rich, somehow the fact that you are a woman will not be a handicap. So he's very good at writing. So then Augusto and Bo, by the way, they knew each other. So these are not these are people who knew each other, and Augusto considered Paulo as his father. So then he based on his should I say theory or argument? So he has a very strong theory, which is called conscientization. Conscientization. So conscientization is what Paul was saying. He was saying that those poor people, the only fact that they are poor is that they are not conscientized enough to change the situation. So he was working to conscientize the people. So then in that theory, he was having 4 principles. So those four principles were taken by Augusto, and he developed what we call the theater of the oppressed. Okay, so the theater of the oppressed, or let's say generally speaking, participatory theater, it should have at least these 4 principles. Number 1, to make the situation lived by the people visible. So number 1, we know the politics, the society, most of the time they try to hide the issues, okay? So we play theaters, we perform theaters to make the situation, which is real, to be visible. So we try to bring up those issues that no one is speaking about. That's number 1. Number 2, to analyze the root causes of the situation, including both internal and external sources of it. So we should play with this in mind. So number 1, we make the situation visible, but number 2, we try to do a conflict analysis, by the way, to make sure we know the root causes of the things, either internally or externally, okay? Number 3, to explore individual as well as group solutions for these problems. So we should not only play just to show the issue and then we say, okay, that's all, right? So we want to make sure there are some solution at the individual level. What can Emmanuel do to solve the issue, but also at the collective level. Number 4, to act for social change. So then these 3 principles, I found them interesting. So whenever we play, in order to not make it entertainment, because entertainment does not have all of this, we should keep these 4 principles in our minds, okay? This is what I can talk about the history of these 2 men, how Augusto was influenced by the ideas of Paulo, and then he developed the theater of the oppressed, on which he developed the forum theater, okay? Is this clear? So make sure the situation is visible. Do a conflict analysis, getting the root, propose the solutions, and also look for social change. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have a lot of information from the the two process as in the national negative is more like when they if you are very like this, you are not to one year next year. You need to create the way that you do like the negative in a lot of good years. And on the analysis of the negative is yes, you cannot play what you want to do. You need to know what is needed from the field.
Yes.
It will put yourself in the field of people are being affected by what technology so that the know, but sometimes we trigger they are much but when you do something which is like in house is maybe those parts some people from the have seen it before maybe you are in you are figuring they are more when it is in participatory, I think it's going to be somehow on the other side because we are not the ones we are not the ones who propose this because we have not time to do this also and we will this and the solution will be like from the performance and the audience. So how do we connect it? When we get started and we also like to know what we need to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's the whole point of participatory. We expose the issue. I told you in the middle, you invite people and you ask them this situation. Is it real? Yes, if it is real, what can you do to change it? You even ask them to come and play. So be in the shoes of, yes, I mean, this oppressor. What can you do? Things like that. That interaction between the actors and the audience, it is a good framework to develop some solutions. So that's the whole point of participation. You are not imposing your solution. You just expose the issue and then you allow debate. Okay? Thank you. Yes, Emmanuel.
For the first point, I understand well, it means the actors they perform on the stage. Then to analyze the root cause. So I think it can be maybe we can choose someone ask the question for the audience to analyze what the customers has determined.
Yes.
So I'm asking myself, can the audience act without losing, come on the stage and act for those actors they can ask the audience questions related to what they have performed.
Okay, so let me answer to you. Number one, this kind of participatory theater, they have somebody we call Joker. So that's what Augustine, that's the name from Augusto. Joker actually is the facilitator. So he will be facilitating the discussion. So he was not acting. So the actors, they finish, they stop somewhere and they don't go. They stay as they are and they comes in and they start asking a question, the audience, what did you observe? Is this situation real? Do you have a solution or can you come and act, things like that? And number two, don't imagine this kind of traditional theater where the stage is over there and the actors are there. So the setting should be really cool, like people just sitting around so that the interaction is somehow possible and easy. We can even play in the ground and then we just put something to show this is the stage, but there is no big difference between where the actors are, the audience are. Okay, just keep in mind that we are making visible issues. We are showing where the problem is, and then people start discussing the solutions. Okay, and the idea of asking actors to come and play, it is this number 4, act for social change. It's easy for audience to say, oh, we can do this, we can do this. But you ask him to come to convince the president who is a dictator, for example, come and convince him. And they actually to start arguing because they're acting. So, and then that person from the audience, he's seeing how difficult it is to change the situation. So that's the whole exercise. Okay? Yes.
I want to talk on the platform of the social change. I'm asking myself whether this is something that cannot be used for saying people.
The answer is no. That's not the goal, actually. The goal is to change social issues, economic issues. So the traditional one, yes. The traditional one, you have love stories written by Shakespeare, you see. But for participatory theater, the whole point is to raise issues, socio-economic issues, political issues, so that people, they try to respond to them. That's why, as I will show you, I think you talked about costumes. We try to wear very simple costumes, which will not distract people or start saying, oh, he's wearing a very nice, outfit. No, the whole point is focusing on the issue. So we try to minimize things. There is no buying food and drinks and pretending you are in a bar. No, all those things are avoided. It's not structured as a story, as a story which started and it continues. No, it's not like that. I will show you that. Okay? Thanks. You want to say something? Okay. Number 3. Then how do we make theater? So the theater should have all these elements. Okay? Number 1, monologue. So a monologue means an actor is speaking alone to the audience. The monologue must therefore be emotional. So, and I think this is the key part. All these points should be included in our theater, okay? There should be a monologue where one actor is speaking to the audience in a very emotional way, very emotional way. Most of the time, it's more like a sadness, expressing how things are serious with a very good voice. That's what we call monologue. He's only one actor. Number 2, there is a dialogue. So in a dialogue, we have 2 actors who talk to each other. It can be, for example, a dispute. So 2 actors are disputing something, okay, in front of the audience. So a monologue, a dialogue. So should have a monologue in our performance and also a dialogue. Number 3, movement. So the theater should have movement. For example, dance, choreographies, acrobatics, all of these can be used just to show the movement, okay? For example, you can start the performance with a Kinyarwanda, interlingua. Yeah, it should, especially in the beginning and in the end, you need to do something that will capture the attention of people. What's going on? What will happen? And then after that, you start issues, okay? So that will be movement. This can be a dance, you perform together. If you have some acrobatic skills, you can even do some acrobatic skills. So, okay? So images also are used. So instead of, for example, leaving the stage, one or more actors can become a still image at the side of the welcome origin, at the side of the stage. For example, most of the traditional theaters, people come, they go. They come, they play, they go. No, most of the participatory theater, people do not leave the stage. They stay on stage. Instead of leaving, they can symbolize something. For example, you can do a monologue, speaking loudly, and then just sit down. And then you just sit and looking at the people. And then people who prepare dialogue, they comes in. Either they stand out, they stand up, and then they start speaking. So what's important is all these parts, put them together to communicate the message. So it should not follow any kind of line. It's not to be like a story, or this man fell in love with that girl and then the family intervened. No, that's not the whole point. The whole point is what you will be speaking and what people will be saying. Okay? So that's why images are important. Yes, Kayemi.
I wanted to because on the road, like for those who went to the normal, actually the normal, just in the normal, they saw that problem created. Where they went to the front of like what there is right. You are going to be said, why is it happening?
Yes, that can be.
The audience is they are just following what you said, why is it? The part of this student and image, I try to connect because it is participatory. Two partners, they are discussing in the institute that you are saying like supporting the side, but I'm also saying you supporting the side. That you say that was going to be facilitating the theater as a
Joker.
yes, you know that the Joker is why you are taking this person because it is you are against each other. Then apart on the part of the individual, it's not you. When you are like this, that trying to show that you are trying to fight. It's better when it is that it's also different. Then it's going to be the children will be the audience
Discussion.
on this side and this side, which one is
Yes.
that's a very good discussion.
Thank you very much. That's a good example of how people can serve as images. Okay. Number 5, symbolic expression. Here we can say like drawing. So you can draw something on the paper, maybe a wall, like people, blood, or a gun, or whatever you want to communicate. So, and then when you comes, maybe for your monologue, you hold it, or somebody hold it like that without saying anything. So you can write something on your t-shirt. You can put some colors on the t-shirts. So symbolic expression, or we can even project some photos using a projector. Okay. So all of this to create the atmosphere, to raise the issue, to show how the issues and to make issues visible. Okay. Poems and proverbs. So you might have somebody who is good at poem like Eugene. And even though I'm afraid he will start by a very formal introduction, which should not be the case, right? Should just come and start talking the poem, about I don't know, the war or something in the middle of the performance. So here we're not talking the poem like a Muvugo where you come and you greet people. When it's no, it's just a matter of expressing what you want to express. Okay. You can even use music. For example, a person can come with a guitar and start singing a very sad song. Or even few actors can sing a cappella and they sing a song. You can even have use the songs from a computer, like a national anthem. So it will just depend on what you want to communicate in that moment. Okay. We can even create effects using lights, noise, creating surprise, especially when we are talking about issues of conflict. Of course, we need to look for this type of sound which will, which will make people feel like this is serious. Okay. We can even look for the noise of guns or people crying, people running. So we try to create effects that will touch people. And also stage setting. So the stage setting is also important. Number one, the stage can be decorated with anything you found at the venue. So you don't need a lot of things. So you can bring anything. You can bring a stone. Or decoration is just you just use whatever you found. If you're at piers, you can use chairs and tables, and just try to decorate to create the stage. That's it. That's the whole point. But also, theater requires only a minimum of stage equipment and costume. What I was saying. So masks and extravagant costume just attract unnecessary attention. Putting a mask of Satan, this will create unnecessary attention. Okay. So what counts more is the actor's facial expression. That's the most important thing. The actor's facial expression. Okay. Of course, we are not saying only the face is because sometimes you may want to show people fighting. Okay. But we should not really be extravagant, bringing unnecessary things. That's why most of the time we wear like this black, or we just wear one color thing, like white up and black trousers, and that's all. And then we play how do you know barefoot foot, okay? Bare feet, okay? Yeah. Okay. Okay, yes, please, Kayuma.
It is something that is yes, some of that it is like sometimes they are
Yes.
which is not like people actually the audience will not notice because they have time to the so it is always looking very or see where studying at the audience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Actually, participatory theater that's the whole point. We are not acting things. It's not a movie. It's not nothing. So we're just communicating something to the audience through the monologue, the dialogue, the movement, the images, the facial expression. So it's important to just keep looking in the eyes of the audience. Okay? Okay. So now you know. These are the things you need to keep in mind when you want to do a theater. Okay, so we should have a monologue, a dialogue, movements, images, symbolic expression, poem or proverb, music, and effect, and then stage setting. Okay? So then how do we develop a theater play? This is the end of my presentation. Number one, you choose a topic. For us, we have the topic already, the topic of the day. So I will show you the topic, and then number two, do research on the topic to identify the root causes. Okay, so we will try to do a research and know what's wrong with that topic. Identify characters. So, okay, characters means if there's a topic about gender-based violence, of course, there is a man who is oppressing his wife. Maybe there is a child who is tired of that situation. There is a motugudu. Maybe there is an elder man who says that that's how women will respect you, things like that. So we need to see who should be the characters in our play. Who is playing what, okay? Create a dialogue, okay? When it needs two people to discuss, then we need to create that dialogue. Emotional monologues. I told you monologues should be emotional. And if there's a song which needs to be composed, and also decide on the music to use. Okay? We need to develop a dance or physical movement, okay? As I told you, put the scene together, okay? So we need to create maybe 2 or 3 scenes. Then we need to put them together and decide on the entrance and the exit for each scene. Okay, how we do it transitioning from one scene to the other. If the actors need to stay on the stage, how do we do that? If they need to go the other side. By the way, there's also one more thing. Because this is participatory, we can even have some actors starting to play from the audience. It's all.
They are the usual one who are sitting. I mean, the theater is good and it is your heart.
Yes.
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 Yeah, right. They expect you to be
Yes. So we should do that. So we can start 2 people, only 2 people, but 5 people in the audience. When it is time for their monologue and dialogue, they stand up and start shouting, and everybody's like, what's going on? So the whole point is to create an atmosphere which will make people really wonder, what are they communicating to us? Why is this an issue we need to deal with? Okay?
The time that the items, like the art all very first government will come and sometimes for peace, if we will see him for the art, like if you see the main we have 2 interests in front of the state. We shall go where that person is going to pass where we come from and where we really get back so that we come back to the stage where the
Okay. Yeah, I think we need to go to the main hall, the conference hall, to just see how things are and decide where should be the entrance or should be the exit. Okay. So the play should have a strong beginning and a strong ending. So most of this movement, like dancing, should be in the beginning. So the beginning should be so strong, and the ending should be so strong. Like most of the time, we say as we end, it should be like on a positive note. Maybe people dancing, the situation has changed. Like imagining when the issue will not be there, how people will be happy. So it should not be end on a very sad note. So it should bring some hope. Collect ideas for stage scenery and effect. This is something we need to know. How we make the stage scenery, what will we decorate it with? And then which effect do we need? Do we need lights? Do we need music? Things like that. Okay? Choose a name for the play and a name of the theater group. Okay? Troupe. The theater troupe, we already have a name. Harmonizer Inspire. Some names are difficult to say. But we can also choose the name of the play. The name of the play. So this is a very brief introduction, which can be starting point. I'm not a professional of this, okay? I just learned it from class. I played only one in the class, but I felt together we can try to share ideas and create something for sure interesting. Okay? Any question or any comment? Yes, again. Yes, participatory theater is like a general umbrella for different types of participatory theater. One of them is forum theater, which is the most popular. And this is the one where you invite people to be part of the play. Okay? I do not want to focus on it because I am assuming that when on 21st, we will not have time to interact with people because normally it takes 2 to 3 hours if we want a very deep and serious forum theater. That's why I did not focus on it. So we not do exactly a forum theater. I'm not expecting us to invite people. We only have 20 minutes, I think. I think it is 15 minutes. If we want the 5 minutes to be used for social media campaign, so that means we only have 15 minutes. So if we have 15 minutes, we cannot really do a forum theater. I just brought this main idea on how to do theater, but probably next time we can do a forum theater for 2 or 3 hours. Okay, good. So I'm going then to show you the topic, and we start discussing on it. I think you all know that there is the celebration of peace, International Day of Peace on the 21st. So this is happening every year. And at this time, PRs and NAR are organizing something together. So, okay. So I think now I will stop the recording because the lecture is over. So we start discussing the